Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley,
Here.
Jim Molitor, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt,
Here.
Bing Matt, James Steele Jr.,
Oh, yeah.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Len Two-Teeth.
I'm here.
Jake, will you give us a prayer this morning?
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our beautiful homeland that we are blessed with. We ask that you would watch over the families that have lost loved ones recently. We ask that you'd comfort those of our people that are in the hospital recovering from illness. We ask that you watch over our firefighters, our fish and game officers, and our police officers, our law and order officials. Keep them safe as they keep us safe. And we ask that you watch over members of our armed forces, particularly our tribal members that are part of the armed forces. Keep them safe as well. Guide us today in today's meeting. Give us wisdom as we make decisions for our people.
Thank you, James. We have minutes from August 14th.
Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I made a couple minor changes and sent those to Abby. Just nothing major.
Go ahead, Lynn.
On the very first paragraph, I would like to remove Ernie's name from there. Just
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion for, what was it, August the
14th.
minutes with corrections.
Motion by James to approve August 14th minutes with corrections. Second by Tom. All in favor? We're unanimous.
I was abstaining.
Oh, okay.
And if Abby could put me on cultural leave for that day, that would be great. Thank you.
So Daniela actually abstains on the minutes. We have an agenda. Any other additions to the agenda? We do have 2 walk-ins. If not, I'd look for a motion. But I got motion by Jimmy. Second by Len. All in favor? We're unanimous. We'll go directly to our walk-ins. Sam, come on up. Good morning. We're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of council. We are back today. So we presented a couple weeks ago about our pedestrian safety and community mobility project. Today, we're here to just invite you guys to the event next Wednesday. So Hallie's handing out the invite. We had to pivot our project to a couple of locations in St. Ignatius. Federal highway guidelines restrict artwork in the travel lanes. And then our permit hasn't come through for the Arlie project to do onto the sidewalk. So we're shifting to a couple of locations in Mission that were also identified by our community members as needing attention. One is behind tribal health there that connects from the employee lot to that Elder Park walking track. And so we're going to work with Wildland Rec to try and get that graded out a little bit. We're going to touch up that crosswalk. And then over by the Longhouse is an intersection that we're going to show a different way that quick builds can be done with the bulb outs and delineator posts and things like that. And so still super cool project. We're really excited about it. We're hoping you guys are all able to attend. We'll start at 9 a.m. Down in that Elder Park area. And then we are also doing a webinar on Thursday through the America Walks team. So on that second handout, the stapled one that you have is talking about the webinar that I and a few other team members will be presenting as panelists on. That QR code will get you to the registration page if you guys are interested in attending that. But besides inviting you guys to attend the event on Wednesday, the 27th, our other, I guess, reason for being here today is we are hoping for change of duty with supervisor approval for employees throughout the tribe to participate in that quick build event on Wednesday.
Any thoughts?
Motion to approve the request.
Motion by James to approve the change of duty for any tribal employees on Wednesday to attend, what's the name of the event? Their quick build project with supervisor approval. Second by Tom. Any discussion? All in favor? We're unanimous with Len out of the room. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you all.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Come on up, Kathy, Scott. Morning. Can we have you turn on your microphone? No, the other button,
There we go.
the one that says talk.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense. Duh. Okay. So I know Dan was in here last week and asked for a change of duty for the fentanyl awareness walk. And in talking with him about what he was putting together for that event, I mean, he pretty much is doing this on his own, which I applaud him for that. I said, why didn't you come and talk to me? We could work together on this. But anyway, he talked to me about some expenses that he has that I'm not able to absorb those in my program. I don't have the funding for that. And one of them is the cost of the t-shirts. They're about $600 for the shirts that he's doing. He's having them done locally. So he's working with one of our local people to do that. The other is the cost for the MC and the sound system, which is Shadow of Devereaux, which is $750. So I put in a donation request asking that tribal council cover the cost of those two things. He's also wanting to know about a donation of paper products. If we could donate that. It sounds like there's a lot of people that are coming, and I think he's a little nervous about whether he's going to have enough on his own to cover whatever he needs to cover. He didn't have a budget for this. Like I said, he's just putting this together on his own, and I want to try to support him in what he's doing. I know you're probably all aware we've had 3 people we've lost in the last 2 weeks due to fentanyl overdoses. This is not going away. It's not slowing down. And the more we can do to get information out there and to help support people who are trying to get into recovery and be in recovery, I think we need to support that in any way we can. So I'm here to try to help him get this funded. So, that's what we're asking. And Mr. Gardapi is here. He's been working with Dan on this project as well. He's part of the drug court out of, Lake County. You want to say anything?
Mr. Chair.
James,
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the request, and I think we can use it out of the interest from the opioid settlement money. I don't think I made a motion to establish a committee and it's just sitting. So I think I'd like to make a motion to, provide for this out of the interest off the opioid settlement monies.
got a motion by James to meet the requirements using interest from the opioids. Got Carol. Second by
Second it, and I just want to say the more we can support this kind of thing, the more advocacy that we have. I think it just does help. I mean, it doesn't look like it helped when we lose people like this, but certainly the more we can do, and I know there's a couple others going on. So I hope that they come in and we can support those too. And I just think Danny James has done this in the past, and I know he went through the system up in Lake County, but I think we need to involve our healing court too, but whatever way we can. So, yeah, definitely, support it.
Thank you.
We got a motion by James and a second by Carol to support these costs with the opioid settlement interest money. Any other discussion? All in favor? We're unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have to find out how to do that.
Oh, the walk is on Thursday. It starts at 10:30 across the lot across from Super One. And then they're walking down to Riverside Park. They expect to be there around noon. And I believe the KPAX is gonna be there. We're gonna try to have a reporter from Charcusta there to cover. So anyway, I think it'll get some good publicity.
Yeah, the NARS program already donated to serve the billion down there at Riverside.
And Dan already paid for the shirts out of his own pocket, so we would have to reimburse Dan. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Scott? Is Pat Amborn online?
I didn't see them online, no.
Say we don't have Pat online yet. Oh, I think Natalie's here. Are you ready, Natalie? Are you? Okay, we can do that. I see Mike's here. Come on up, Mike. Oh, okay. Oh, there is Pat. Pat, now why don't we go ahead and get in order then? Come on up. Glad you're here early. Morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me. So today, just to go over the history of this a little bit. We had some issues. This is, I guess I should start with what I'm here for. I'd like to approve the resolution to modify the South Valley or SV Upper Line Logging Unit contract. This was purchased by Chef Logging, which they are the tethered folks who have kind of the specialty type of logging. Basically what happened, they bought it last fall and they weren't able to get in. Sun Mountain is who said they were going to take all the wood. And that's about when Sun Mountain started to have their issues financially and otherwise, breakdowns within the mill. So they had to step back and start to look for different avenues. They were looking for possibly taking it to Idaho, a couple mills there, Chilco, and another one out there. What happened is we they got snowed out for one. And then there was also a lynx mitigation in there where they couldn't be in there in the winter anyways. So when they were trying to move back in, what happened when the snow finally melted was a couple of the roads that we had prepped for them, they weren't quite ready yet. So this is kind of a combination of we had to go in with forest development staff to kind of get a couple spots that weren't quite up to snuff. We had to get some of that rock out of there. And then they kind of went quiet on us for a little bit, and we weren't sure what was going on, why they hadn't moved in yet. And they wrote this letter months ago. Maybe we received it in June. I can't remember exactly, but either way, they wrote the letter. Yeah, June 6th is when it happened. So they wrote the letter, and basically were saying that they wanted an extension. They wanted to wait until fall to get it done. And we kind of countered with them and said, well, that's not going to be good enough for us. We need to get some volume on this fiscal year. We need to get some revenue on this fiscal year. And basically, if they wanted to go the route of giving it back to us, and then we'd keep their bond and we would resell it, then that's the route that we could take. So in turn, about a week later after we said that, they moved in, and they've been really giving it a good effort. They've really been trying. They've been getting some volume out. So I felt that it was right to kind of come to you guys with this extension to see how you felt about it. Originally, they were supposed to have it all cut and paid for by the end of this month. They think they could probably get it done by mid-October, but we're just requesting an extension to December 31st of this year, 2025. So any questions?
Wait, Lynn.
So how many mills are we currently open right now that we're using, that we're able to sell our logs at?
So we're still taking stuff to TRL. We're still taking stuff to Weyerhaeuser. Bonner just shut down again, their pulp mill. So that's a big hurt for us for sure. They're having contract issues with the soup label makers or whatever. So that's been another hit for us for our pulp market. Other than that, they have been taking some Idaho Forest Group mills. They've been taking them that far. Chilco was one. I'm trying to think of what the other one is called. Laclede. So we've been taking them to some. They've been taking it as far as to Idaho. That's correct, sir. Yeah. There's been word that there was a letter sent to the governor about the intent by this company to invest in the mill pyramid where Sealy was. That being said, we don't really know what their intentions are, or if they're actually going to build it there, or if they're going to take over some of that other spot in Bonner that closed down. There's talks of them doing something there, but that's if you think about it, that's like at least 5 years out probably for them to do anything.
The current mills that we're using now, are they buying Ponderosa pine?
TRL is Thompson River Lumber is, but they only have so much capacity to take. So, but they are taking it. And then the rest of the Ponderosa pine is getting sent off to Idaho. They're offering decent rates out there for all species. But I mean, it's hard to pencil it out with that for far. It's anywhere from like it's over 200 miles. Can't think exactly, but yeah.
Bing, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Say, Pat, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, I see the nice load of lodgepole coming out of Valley Creek. Where is that? Is that going to Idaho too?
I think that stuff is going to Idaho as well. Yeah, I know Weyerhaeuser's been struggling with prices for some of these loggers, so they're taking it elsewhere. So I think Weyerhaeuser's going to have to kind of realize that they're going to need to up those green gate prices a little bit if they want to want to compete, in my opinion.
That was really a nice little lodgepole that they had on that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm just wondering, what would the penalty have been?
So I believe we do 1% of stumpage at the first 30 days. And then after that, 2%, 3%, and it kind of goes up from there. But, yeah, we weren't sure. That was another option that we brought to him as well. Cause we do want to partner with these people because they can log on ground that no one else can. But at the same time, we can't be pushed around, so.
Any other thoughts? Go ahead, Len.
What was the total value of the sale?
Total value was around 160,000. And that's with TSI and roads.
Any other questions? I'd look for a motion by Carol to approve the modification. Second by Bing. All in favor? We're unanimous with Martin out of the room.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Pat. You have a good day too. Want me to go to Mike yet? Okay, come on up. How are you this morning, Natalie?
Morning, Nat.
Morning, Nick.
And we're here today for the food distribution, to do a resolution to continue our budget with the state of Montana on continuing the food distribution program here. It's an annual update.
Go ahead, Carol. Motion by Carol to approve the resolution to, what is it exactly? The food distribution on Indian reservations program. Second by Jimmy. All in favor? We're unanimous. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Come on up, Mike.
Brought back up.
Uh-oh. Well, good morning.
That's correct.
Tomorrow at 9.
That's correct. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. So Sean and I are here this morning to ask permission to apply for a National Forest Foundation grant. You guys are aware that the tribe, or we got the America the Beautiful grant, which is now, and I have a correction on that. It now is the America Ecosystem Restoration Initiative, not resilience. That's a bad word. Resilience is a bad word. So they changed it to restoration. So we're applying for, I think it's around 250,000. Is it this one?
This one's 70.
Oh, 70,000, sorry. 70,000 to bring on a indigenous visual facilitator. We are planning, I think, 7 workshops around the grant that we got before. So each workshop will have an indigenous visual facilitator that draws out kind of like animations or something of instead of like taking notes, they actually draw out like a visual kind of perspective of what the outcome of the workshop is. The first workshop is coming up in October. Yeah, around wetlands and riparian areas. So we'll make sure that we invite all of you to that workshop. And then, the following workshops. We'd like to apply for this grant to help facilitate that. process.
Motion by Carol to approve pursuing the grant. Tom has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mike, I don't know if you know this, Mike, but the National Forest Foundation has been our main funder for our youth conservation crew. So I'm not sure if they limit applications to one a year, but I would have concern applying for this over or funding our youth crew if we are limited to one application by the tribe. So tribal ed works on that, tribal education.
It's the same funding,
The National Forest Foundation.
National Forest
Yes.
Foundation? Oh,
They've been funding our youth crew, along with SKC and REI.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally understand. I didn't realize that it would be, one or the other.
No, I don't know. Maybe
Oh.
you can have multiple applications, but sometimes some givers limit that
Yeah,
on an
yeah.
annual basis, but just didn't know.
I'm thinking that we have another grant with National Forest, but I'd have to, not a forest, but I know the tribes were.
Carol?
I would just make a motion pending the ask to the organization to see if
Yeah, I
it
can
could fund.
follow up with that.
But I could make a motion, Mr. Chair. Did we already motion?
Well, you can amend the motion you made. So Carol made the motion to pursue the grant pending the discovery of whether we can have more than one application. Seconded by Martin.
And I just want to say, I agree, I have to agree with Tom. If we are doing that one, we need to continue with that.
Yeah.
Tom, who was that they
Miranda Berlin in
Funded-
tribal education's been the main
Miranda,
coordinator.
check with her?
And then Tim over at the college been the main staff person, and then Tim's cousin down in Missoula works for the National Forest Foundation.
Okay.
We got the motion and the second to approve the pursuit of the grant on the condition we can do more than one. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a good day. I would just like to thank all of you for the prayers and thoughts that you send Mariah. As you know, that she got into a pretty bad accident there in Ronan a week before last. It's gonna be a long healing process. She had to have surgery on the nerve in her face. She has a couple, 2 skull fractures and some damage to her spine, but, we took her to Walmart Sunday, got her out of the house, so she was happy about that. It's gonna be a long process. We won't know for sure that the nerve is gonna be okay. He said it could take up to a year, but, very much appreciate all of your support and prayers for her. Thanks.
Lower. Morning, Teresa. Come on up.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, council members. We were invited to submit a grant to the Montana Healthcare Foundation for the development of a strategic plan for homelessness. This is a category of grant that's done by invitation only. The grant has been prepared in the amount of $150,000 with $100,000 for the development of the strategic planning document and $50,000 for equipment. It is possible that the Healthcare Foundation may come back and say, we will only award for the $100,000. When I met with them, we had an informal discussion and they said I could ask for equipment, but it wasn't guaranteed. The grant contemplates a MOA with Salish Kootenai College for the development of workforce training to be paid for with available tribal funds in the tribal member services budget. And that MOA, that would be due to the procurement level of $30,000, that would be a sole source procurement. SKC is doing some great work in the building trades area, which we would like to support. Plus, we would like their support in developing a housing mentoring program for people who are homeless. And this was one of the recommendations that's come forward from the coalition, that we actually educate folks on how to be good renters. We do building maintenance with them. We do financial literacy. So if someone went through the housing mentoring, they would end up with a credential that might replace a good reference from a landlord. So the idea is to do that kind of background training and prepare people for eventual stable housing. The development of a strategic plan was recommended in May of 2020, and the development of additional workforce training was also recommended. When you think about the homelessness task force coordinator, the PD requires that I do some legwork and that I evaluate what are called gap areas. And so one of the gap areas that I'm identifying is the gap of workforce development training. That also came up in the housing needs assessment, and that also came up in the participant information from the justice planning, that the lack of available, easily accessible workforce training is a barrier. So what I'm asking for, three things. Approve the tribal resolution to apply for the funds. If it's approved, it would be October 1. Approve the MOA with SKC. And then I was told by Contracts and Grants to inform you that there is an indirect gap of $3,291 that has to be made up with tribal funds. And also approve the grant application that would provide for strategic planning, please.
Carol? Go ahead.
Teresa, my question is the 477 money and how that's being utilized at Mission Valley Power. And I'm just wondering, is there a better use for that money in this type of thing? I mean, I know we're applying, and I think the 477 could almost augment this, but I'm wondering, it seems like we have a bigger need, and I know there's a meeting coming up with Stephen Morjo regarding bringing all of the entities together. And I think what they're trying to do is figure out jobs for not only the people at NARS, but also the people that are in recovery that don't have jobs. In order to keep people sober, is they have to have a roof over their head, which I notice there's nobody in the little homes. Maybe there's no need yet. And I know they are small, but I've been inside and they're really nice. And secondly is a job and a transportation, of course. So I'm just wondering, are we looking at those funds at all to assist the people that is actually, I think, meant for?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, that is an excellent question. And if you think about what's in front of you with the strategic plan and the workforce development and the housing mentoring program, it is coming together, because in the 477 plan, we did put in that new plan rewrite that we would have a housing mentoring program. What I would like to suggest is, because 477 has a healthy carryover amount, a healthy unexpended balance, that those funds could be dedicated to exactly what you're talking about. They could be dedicated to jobs, to help those that are homeless, and jobs with people who are going through recovery. I attended a meeting last week at SKC. NARS was there, DHRD was there, homelessness, building trades. And what we talked about was one of the strategies that people think would be really good is a hiring hall where employers can drive up and they can pick up people and they can hire them for a day. And maybe you use 477 funds to pay for their wages for a week or a couple of days. And then that employer enters into an OJT agreement. So those discussions are occurring, but you're absolutely right. The 477 should be at the center of that because that is the people that that's intended for. With the small homes down the road, we thought we would have one individual move in last week who's waiting to get into their own small home on a home site lease. That didn't happen. They're still at Anchor Way. We still needed to do the shower rod, shower curtain, toilet paper holders. We were doing stuff like that last week. So hopefully you'll see somebody in there real soon. Today, the last small home was being set on site on its foundation. Corky Sias is out in the field inspecting that. So, and the last individual applicant was selected last week to receive one. So
Can I
hopefully.
say something to that? There's one placed out by Sundown Home Sites. And it was an old trailer that sat there and the roof was falling in and people were living there and there's now a home there. And it's a bigger one. It's long. It looks kind of like a trailer home, but it's actually beautiful the way they got it set up. So I'm impressed that some of those are out there working for people.
You made a motion. Tom?
One comment, and I'd certainly second the motion. But that 477, you guys heard me say this before, that thing's been underutilized. And I just have a hard time that we have a carryover at all, knowing the demand we have and work experience that we have out there for people, whether it's the work experience or on the job training. But I think that program, at least in my tenure here, has been very underutilized and it needs to be maximized. So in any way, shape, or form that it happens to help out with providing work for our homeless population or our youth or those people in recovery, then absolutely, we need to exhaust that funding and make sure it's being worked. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make this.
Glenn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Teresa, thank you, and I commend you for everything you've done so far on the homelessness initiative. You've brought this program a long ways since the beginning. We were just talking about our initiatives that we established here a few years back. Homelessness was right on top of the list there, and how we were going to address it. And I noticed that you're a one-person staff, and we need to change that. We need to get you more resources to help you. And because of the fact that homelessness is one of our initiatives, we need to go all out and making sure we're addressing every aspect of homelessness. It's tough. It's really tough out there. You don't really realize how many are out there until you start working with them, you know. So, but I just wanted to mention this to you because at some point in time, if you can put together a proposed budget on what you think we're going to need to continue on with this program, because we do, I think we do need to staff it. You need help there. It's there's just too many things going on in the homelessness initiative just for one person. So
I think it's imperative that we get you all the resources that you need to do your job effectively. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
I'm imagining that'll be a big part of this strategic planning. So, and I do have two questions as well. SKC is on board, I suspect.
They are absolutely on board. They did a letter of support for the grant. And we have a draft MOU that we hope to finalize today or tomorrow.
And source of the indirect, the idea where that 3,000 will come from?
Per Ruth, that is then budgeted from tribal funds. And then I show that in the grant application as a leverage of tribal commitment.
I got a motion by Carol and a second by Tom to proceed with the grant application, hopefully with the equipment for the MOA as well as the indirect funds. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Thank
you. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, so there's a meeting this Wednesday, right? Is it this Wednesday or next Wednesday?
The 27th.
Okay. Okay. So, just as you were talking, and we can talk about this more in the meeting too, but, I'm thinking about homelessness prevention. Because once people become homeless, that's like, the equivalent of going to jail. Once people get in that system, then they're in a hole that's really hard to dig out of. And it's easier just to prevent people from going down into the hole. Not that it's impossible to get out of, but it's just a different process. So once people actually become homeless, then it's a whole different process. But I just think with all the cuts that are coming down the pike for all kinds of things, SNAP benefits, harder Medicaid eligibility, all these things are going to make it harder for people to not go down into the hole of actually becoming homeless. So I'm just, what measures do we have to keep people housed who maybe are very vulnerable so they can stay where they are? And so I was really pleased, at the turnout that was at the last meeting and all the different departments that were there. And I felt like everybody came with a really good heart. And I think you really set the tone for that, Teresa. Your heart and your compassion for people who are homeless really goes a long way, and it's infectious, and it makes other people want to step up their game. So I appreciate all your efforts.
Mr.
Go ahead, Teresa.
I think we have an additional opportunity, and, thank you for those kind comments. In the Tawali grant, there is going to be an opportunity there to put some strategies and programs in place for homelessness. And Michelle Mitchell has pulled together a team, and she's doing a great job getting all the ideas about how to move that grant forward. But homelessness can be a big part of that grant, and also job training. So thank you.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day, Teresa.
I'm trying to get a hold of Dan right now, but we're so ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Did you guys want a break?
We will take a break.
Okay.
Mike, what's happening?
Yeah, but Tim's niece.
Thank you, Mike. Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As mentioned yesterday, we wanted to make sure we finished landscaping around our skate parks and other improvements we have. And Tony Kashola informed us that the tribal forestry does have a tree spade. And so that they can go out in areas and maybe salvage a live tree in the landscape and transplant that for us. But that would require council action to do that particular action versus just a seedling coming from the nursery or the greenhouse. So, motion by Carol. Well, cool. Thank you, Carol. So, yeah, I would make the motion that we would provide forestry the authorization to use their tree spade to provide trees for landscaping at the tribal skate park facilities on the reservation.
Motion by Tom, second by Carol to use the tree spade to provide trees to the skate park. All in favor? Unanimous. Art, what's happening? That's all you get. Button that says talk.
Where's that daughter of yours, Art? Where's she at?
Do nothing. There you go.
Is your daughter playing
Good
softball?
morning. How are you guys?
Is your daughter playing softball, Art?
No, she isn't, not anymore, so COVID kind of ruined that, so she kind of moved on, so, but anyways, I'm just, here to, ask about the People Center over there. They got some sheds over there and a couple buildings that are in the ground. I'd be, happy to take those guys off you guys' land if you guys want me to.
We've heard the request and we have to wait on finding out if those are already dedicated to somebody. Otherwise, that's a possibility.
Well, I kind of went through the progress and kind of talked with everybody, and everybody really hasn't had too much to say about them. They said I needed to kind of go to you
We talked
guys.
about them yesterday and we'll find out, Art.
Was that?
We talked about them yesterday and we're
Okay.
waiting to find that out. Carol, you want something? Then we'll let you know as soon as we hear that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Mike, at one time we'd asked for those for the skate parks, but then we decided not to because housing had two, so we didn't need them anymore.
Teresa was looking at them as well.
Okay.
So we're still waiting on that. Sounds like they're not worth anything. So on break. Morning, Dan. We got you a little extra time this morning.
Yeah, and I might not need it actually, but yeah, thanks for thinking of us. So
Welcome, Whisper. Welcome, Sadie.
Good afternoon,
Hey, Mark.
Mr. Chairman and Council. We are bringing, do we have the screen to be able to share? Or is that in this folder? You do that and I'll start talking. We are bringing in the 2026-2027 proposed regulation changes for 44D. There are two proposed changes.
Mike.
I still can't hear me. I'm trying to talk. Yes. Okay. Chair doesn't want to move now. Okay, Sadie and I are here, and I think Carrie Kingery might be on as well for the 2026-27 proposed regulation changes for the annual regulation booklets. We have two changes in the non-member regulation booklet. And this change relates to one that we tried to make last year, which was making the whitefish a 20 fish limit rather than 50. We had proposed combining lake and mountain whitefish. Oh, that's me. We can go down one more. We proposed combining them last year. There was a member of the Fish and Wildlife Board who was opposed to the regulation change from 100 down to 50 and down to 20.
So the board that also assists us with overseeing non-member regulations had voted on 50 fish. The state of Montana had successfully, through their Fish and Wildlife Commission and public comment period, combined whitefish and reduced them to 20. We had approved reservation-wide 20, except for Flathead Lake. This year, we are again proposing bringing that number down to 20. We didn't hear much from anglers throughout the year. We asked the state of Montana. They didn't hear much from anglers throughout the year, having any opposition to that 20 fish limit for combined lake and mountain whitefish. So in an effort to be consistent with fishing regulations on the north and south end of the Flathead Lake, we would like to again propose the 20 whitefish limit for Flathead Lake, as well as all the lakes on the reservation.
Thoughts, questions? Go ahead, Len.
What are the implications of not being consistent with them?
Not being consistent, I guess, is part of the spirit of the cooperative management agreement, where we have in the past admonished them for not being co-managers of the lake in a real meaningful way, potentially with gill netting or other management activities on the lake. And so having a regulation differing does make it harder for enforcement, where a game warden would have to catch somebody and then decide which part of that boundary in the lake they came from or not. The fish population would benefit from having the lower fish regulation. And so we'd like to see that based on our cooperative management and based on the biology. Thanks. I don't know if we want to vote on them separately or together.
I think separately. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, Whisper, I can't remember this one, but I don't really understand why they haven't just separated out the two fish species. Not whitefish from the Lake Superior whitefish, and why they keep lumping them together.
I'm looking to see, we had it all spelled out last year and then I made it shorter for this year. From what Les and other biologists were saying, that not a lot of people, and you're gonna know the answer to this, not a lot of people were catching the native fish, but were catching more of the non-native fish. And having that higher rate of fish that could be caught total was additive to both species. So trying to have it so that they were combined, whether they're catching a bunch of the native or the non-native trout, was part of that answer. Fish. Yeah, I'm not sure. I could have Les jump on and explain it more if we would like to have Les. And you all supported the 20 fish last year. It was the board that opposed it.
Yeah, the mountain whitefish are the ones that are super sensitive, and especially a year like this, their population is in jeopardy in a lot of places. They're primarily in rivers and streams, and not necessarily in Flathead Lake.
Right. I think that
So
was it.
Flathead Lake contains nearly 8 million superior whitefish, and they're not in any jeopardy of decline. And when those people go out and fish them, and they're into the bite, it's pretty easy to catch 20. But what do you do with more than 20, you know, because they're big. They go from 3 pounds up to 10 pounds in size. And the little mountain whitefish are small, like 10 to 14 inch, you know, not very big. Anyway, I just thought that why they don't separate them is the only question. I support it. I just don't know why they don't separate it, because it does provide a limitation to a lot of Flathead Lake anglers that know how to catch Lake Superior whitefish. And when the bite's good, it's pretty amazing. And they'll catch 100 fish.
That's the fish they were selling caviar from too, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure that is. That's the fish that they would make caviar. There was a commercial fishery for them. Different periods. There was a guy that offered a price for it. The last guy that did, he did caviar and canned Lake Superior whitefish up in Columbia Falls, no, Big Fork, Kalispell.
Lakeside.
Yeah, but that he passed away quite a few years ago.
Entertain a motion to support the 20 fish limit, whitefish limit. Motion by Tom, second by Martin. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you. And now we're going to go back to page 23. And I guess I should have had less pop on here. The second one is to, on page 7, section 3, we're going to propose lake trout 100 daily and in possession, only 1 over 36 inches, and all fish 30 to 36 inches must be released. And the justification was the tribes have begun a full-scale program in 2014 to manage lake trout abundance downward to allow recovery of native fish to at least sustainable levels in Flathead Lake. Any protection of lake trout was considered counterproductive to the goal of reducing lake trout abundance, and therefore the tribes removed this regulation. After 11 years of focused management, lake trout biomass is substantially reduced, and the co-management plan between CSKT and FWP directs that reduction of lake trout abundance be balanced with maintaining an angler opportunity. Therefore, the fisheries program considers that we are at the stage in which we can enhance fishing opportunity by protecting large-scale lake trout while continuing to effectively manage smaller trout in the desired levels. In addition, this change will advance the co-management goal of making regulations consistent between the two agencies on the lake. Another regulation that is trying to make the north and south end the same.
Any questions? Entertain a motion. Motion by Carol, second by Tom. All in favor? Looks unanimous.
Thank you.
Chair.
James.
Yeah, just for my edification and asking a dumb question, but so when somebody's fishing off the res on the north side of the lake, how does that permit system work for non-tribal members? Is it just a strict state permit, or if they live on a res, they can use the cooperative permit, or how does, as long as they're living on the res, they can have a cooperative permit that allows them to fish anywhere on the lake, right?
Anywhere in the state.
Anywhere in the state? Okay, wasn't quite sure. But if they don't live on the res, then they have to get a strict state permit, is that right? I'm kind of confused. I had a couple of people asking me this question and I'm like, I'm not sure.
Right. So to buy a recreation permit for the Flathead Reservation, you can live here off the res, like Missoula or Kalispell or anywhere in the state or out of state. So when they buy the conservation permit here, that allows them to access our tribal land. That is separate from the cooperative agreement, which we have to remind people sometimes. And then part of the cooperative agreement includes the fishing permit as well as the bird hunting stamp. Camping is again separate, and that's tribal. So those are the two that we oversee, the conservation trespass permit and the camping stamp. But the Fish and Wildlife Board for the Flathead Reservation oversees that fishing and the bird stamp. If you're off reservation, I don't sell these permits either, so I'm not the one who was dealing with this every day. I don't know if Sadie will know either, but if you are off the reservation, say in Kalispell, and you buy a recreation permit for the north half, I think that cost for that fishing stamp is the same. Now, because you could just get the south end of Flathead Lake. So you can just get a permit to just fish the south end of Flathead Lake. It's cheaper than the entire reservation. So maybe there's just a north end, Tom, or is that the whole state?
Yeah, it's all based on your residency. If you live within the exterior boundaries of the reservation as a full-time resident, when you buy your tribal conservation license, which is required to attach any additional stamp to, fishing, bird hunting, or camping, that permit, that fishing license is good for all of Montana. If you live in Kalispell and you want to fish the south half of Flathead Lake, you have to buy the tribal conservation license and the tribal fishing stamp. You have an opportunity to buy one just for Flathead Lake, which is a combination, which is a good deal. It's conservation and fishing stamp, but that's only good for the south half of Flathead Lake. If you want to fish the north half and you're a non-resident of the reservation, you have to buy a state conservation license and fishing stamp. So if you lived in Kalispell and you wanted to fish both sides of the pond, you'd have to have two separate fishing licenses.
Thank you. We had a motion and a vote on that one, didn't we? I think. Then we voted. Okay. So we
Everybody
will,
in favor?
I lost where we were. We will
Unanimous.
start the 30-day public comment period today, and September 17th will be the end of that period, and we will have a hearing on the 17th. We will try to get back to you on the 18th. We have the last page here is the annual special hunt regulations. And they have no control. If somebody could scroll down. Now I do. To page 25. Those regulations, there are no substantive regulation changes. We're just updating the year from 2025 to 2026 or 27 where applicable. And I did forget to mention, we have taken these regulations to the tribal culture committees. We met with them last month, did not get any comments on these regulation changes. There are still people who are not happy about the moose hunt harvest season. Great, thank you very much.
Is Mark available? We're a little ahead of him. Yeah, we're ready when you are, Mark. Come on up. Good afternoon. I think our first issue is expanding Blue Bay lease. Motion by Martin to expand the Blue Bay lease. Okay, second. Second by Carol. All in favor? We're unanimous on expanding the Blue Bay lease. Next issue is, I think, is it Dina Bates trust to fee? Showing disinterest. Motion by Carol. Second by James. All in favor? Unanimous. Next issues, Rhonda Swaney and Charles trust to fee. Show disinterest. Motion by Tom. Second by Martin. All in favor? Unanimous. Next is William Trosper trust to fee. Motion by Tom. Second by Martin. All in favor? We're unanimous. Next, I think we had an offer for a Dupuy property, but that might be on hold. Depending on.
Yeah, we have to follow up and come back with you on that one.
And then we got a map property. Offer what, 10 acres on Minesinger? Show interest.
9.1 acres out of Minesinger, yes.
Motion by Tom to show interest, second by Jimmy to show interest. All in favor? Unanimous. Actually, I knew it as the Tommy Pablo property. Being offered. Motion by Tom, second by James. All in favor? Unanimous, showing interest. And then we got a Mitchell property, 124th part. And we own 124th part in it already.
Yep.
With, is it 8 other owners besides Michelle?
So that turns out to what in fractionation if we own it?
112, we'll end up with 112.
Sorry, I was bad in fractions in school, so.
I can do that one. Show interest. Motion by James to buy the, second by Tom to buy the 124th interest. All in favor? Unanimous. Any objections to putting out the fall bid? Drop the fall bid. Then we have houses. I don't remember exactly what we're doing with all the houses. So you had appraisal values and wondering if we just offer them again at the half price, re-advertise it all the half the appraised value. So that's the houses.
The hay lottery, approval for the,
The hay lottery, yeah, take the, James, to take the results of the hay lottery. Motion by James, second by Bing. All in favor? Unanimous? Will we? What the hay? Will we waive all the dollar fees on the Polson Fire out on Rocky Point? We'll make that waiver. We want to see the values though.
the value. I'll get the value in that ordered when I get back down.
So
to
I got a
office.
motion by Tom to waive, second by James, all in favor? So we're willing to waive.
The Safety Bay home site discussion. Continue moving forward with that one to correct the acreages, so management purposes, the individual can get their home. Their septic in that, so they can get their home remodeled and expanded on, and the other one would be into compliance by removing the secondary dwelling.
I don't know that we need a motion, just, is there any
Just
objection
continue.
to pursuing the recommended course of action? Don't see any objections.
And motion for the fall bid advertisement. Yeah, we usually get a motion on it
Motion by Tom,
to advertise.
second by Jimmy, all in favor? Unanimous.
They already did it.
What are you missing?
Did we do a motion to advertise the home?
Yeah, half value.
You did a motion.
Motion by Tom to re-advertise. Second by James, all in favor. Looks unanimous.
Hunting for Valley View, about working with the game wardens and getting posted signage, having it as archery only.
We need a motion on that? Okay, Martin, motion to have only bow hunting allowed. Taking those birds with arrows, there you go. Limit the hunting on Valley View. Got a motion by Martin. And a second. Bring it back. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. What I'd like to see is maybe a management plan on how it would be hunted appropriately, because the super majority of our tribal member hunters are rifle hunters.
Yeah.
And so if we want to control the ungulate population out there on that property and depredation, we really not need to look at archery. We need to make sure we can have rifle hunting out there for the big game.
I know back when Steve had it, the last two owners didn't allow it, but Steve allowed tribal members to go up through the property to get to the river breaks and hunt it. River breaks have always been rifle. They don't have that near miss on the river breaks as they do up on the flat fields. But yeah, we would work with, we want to work with Jesse and them. Also have a management plan on it. So if the cows are out on that grazing parcel, that one is closed for that time period. But with the game wardens also, to make sure that it's being patrolled correctly, and we're doing hunter blocks, potentially. So those are the ones that are out there hunting. We were looking at kind of like what they do with the pits out at Pablo, or at 9 Pipe Pits for bird. So we were looking at trying to get something set up like that too, but we're just in the initial phases. They just wanted to know if it would be entertained to be able to do it. I do know that in the past, it is very hard to remove these types of leases or anything like that property where we have game, to keep tribal members from hunting. So we do monitor it a little bit more during the hunting season, just our staff does, but we'll do the same thing at this one if when that management plan gets all devised up.
So we'll see you come back with suggested plan.
Yeah, we just started it. Lynn, Jesse, and I had that discussion about maybe getting some of these areas shut down. But we needed to come up with a better plan. We just wanted to see if the tribes would be interested in being able to do that. And one of them was archery. I do know we are getting a lot more of our crossbow hunters, which is considered archery, going out. A lot more of them, especially around the Polson area.
I don't know what kind of action you want on the Orville house. Just to keep moving forward with what you're doing. And then the 6 acre property near the airport.
Yeah, we can get more information on it. It was just, like I said, he just had called, on that situation, but I would like to get more information on it if it was even feasible.
In the Eastman property.
The Eastman property, like I said, we just got informed again that he is really interested. We are wanting to work with him on that, find a price, and then try to find the funding on it, and go from there.
Do you need any action from us on that? No. Okay. I think that was your list. Anything else?
And we'll be moving forward too with the Moise Valley and seeing if we can't get that easement swapped.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. That's all we had for land committee.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, just one question. Where are we at with the allotment, the big property there at the south of the airport, Polson Airport?
I reached out and talked to him, and he was still having discussions with his sister. Who's the other half on? So I'll reach back out. Yeah. I was just saying, I know, I'm like, geez, what's there to decide on? Ready, we want it. Yeah, I'll reach back out and follow.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good afternoon. Hello. Morning. Ralph,
And then if we could go back into executive.
we will go out of regular into executive.
Yep, take care.
Everybody be safe.
Question about Thursday, the fentanyl walk is at 10:30. I don't know what, did look at the agenda, pretty full, but it'd be good to be able to support that if we could.
We'll look, maybe we can take a break in between. I don't know how well that would work, but